What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We are back at it, and we are here with another one. I appreciate all of you guys for coming out tonight on this Monday evening. We're gonna get into a ton of stuff here. If you're a Patreon, you've been seeing I've had multiple Watson updates today for you guys, so you guys have seen that. We'll talk about a little bit about Watson here. Obviously, the big news we're going to start off with is the cuts. One of the surprise cuts, obviously, being McKinney. We'll talk about that to start off the show. We'll also look at PFF grades from last Saturday when the Bengals took on this past Saturday when the Bengals took on the Dolphins. We'll get the grades for those teams. And then I have my final 53-man roster prediction, which I've obviously had to update multiple times today. Thank you very much. So let's start off with the cuts today, the initial roster cuts. It all started off this morning, really. Tino Ellis was released at about noon, so that really didn't surprise anyone, right? Then Nate Hawley was released at about 1:30. Tom Pelissero reported. Jordan Scarlett was released not too long after, about quarter after 2. They'll probably try and put him on the practice squad, and then literally minutes later, the news of Khalil McLean getting released came out. Then at about 20 after 3, Tyshawn Render got cut. Now he's probably going to make it back to the practice squad, no problem. And then at about just before 6 o'clock, the Dolphins released Matt Skura. And what's crazy today is I was talking with someone, and someone who I've gotten some pretty good info from before that I've told you guys. The guy who basically told me everything there was to know about the whole Xavier Howard situation, that I ended up being spot on, and I have no one to thank except him. He actually said to me maybe about 20 minutes before Skura was released, he's like, I wouldn't be surprised if Skura was released. And then bam, Skura got released. I was like, man, I should have tweeted that when he told me, but whatever, it is what it is. It was kind of the writing was on the wall when they made the move for Greg Manx, because Manx can play center or he can play guard. So, I think he bumped Cameron Tom too. So then about around the same time, we also announced that we released Carl Tucker today, the fullback tight end from Alabama that they signed as an undrafted free agent. And then the shocking cut came at about 5 after 7, when Ian Rappaport reported that the Dolphins are releasing McKinney. And what's crazy is Shaq Lawson, who we traded for McKinney, he got traded again. Shaq Lawson got traded to the Jets. So it's like within 24 hours, the two guys involved in that trade get moved again. So a lot of people, I know EM, I'm thinking of you, homie. I'm thinking of you. I know EM, he's EM's in a sad, dark place right now. So because that was his boy, McKinney. But basically this is what's happened. Between McKinney and the release of Skura, they've saved about $3.7 million on those two alone. I think we were like $26 million over the cap with our current roster right now. So money was going to be cut from somewhere. And basically, Landon Roberts came back. They saw what Landon Roberts gave them. He can be proficient in the run game. He's not that great in coverage. And I think they saw him. They looked at McKinney, and they're like, skill set and what they bring to the table wise, they're kind of the same guy. And then Sam Iguavin has been obviously raising his stock all through the preseason. So I think he made the team. I think the only thing, and EM made this good point when we talked, this is EM, he said it, and I agree with him on it. We're very undersized in that interior. That's very worrisome when it's going to come to the run game. Like, you know, I have my doubts on if our run game, it's basically the same run defense that we had last year. And we all saw how that went. It's literally, I mean, if we're going by their 3-3-5, their front, let's say our front six, well, we're against the Patriots, so we'll have to be in the 3-4 more because we're gonna have to be more. We're gonna have to be heavier up front. So let's put us just in a 3-4, right? So Wilkins, Davis, and Ogba, Phillips, Roberts, Baker on the interior, and then Andrew Van Ginkel or Sam Iguavin or Shaquem Griffin or Brendan Scarlett on the other side. So we're kind of, other than the addition of Jalen Phillips, we're kind of the same front seven. So this is worrisome. I'm just worried about what, I mean, this run defense got gashed by a team like Buffalo who wasn't even known as running the ball very well last year. And again, Raekwon can take that leap. All these guys can take those leaps, et cetera, et cetera. But McKinney was brought in to be a specialist at that. Like, as good as Landon Roberts is in run defense, we can all agree McKinney is better. Now, is he a liability coverage-wise? Yes, but we all knew that. Everyone knew that. So it is what it is. Obviously, they've seen enough growth from Iguavin, and when Roberts came back, they looked at him, they looked at McKinney, they're like, cheaper version of McKinney, looking at Iguavin, so keep him. I don't know. I'm actually shocked. I'm shocked, but I understand why at the same time. I do understand why. And what's crazy is, they already shook him down for money, and then they ended up releasing him anyways. So, and people got to realize it's not the player that has EM hurt right now. It's the logo. It's because he believes our run defense he believes basically what I'm saying too, that our run defense is going to be the same thing until they show us otherwise. You're going in with a very similar run defense to what got gashed up last year. So, I mean, it's all about the run defense. It's not about the player. I mean, what I've mentioned here live, the receipts out there, if he got hurt, I said he was one of those players we couldn't afford to get hurt because of how instrumental he's going to be to the run defense portion of our defense. And obviously the Miami Dolphins and Flores feel otherwise right now. So, I mean, what can you really say? It's a shock, but it is what it is. I still think, hey, maybe they're getting a little confident. I don't want to use any other word, but maybe they're getting a little confident in their ability of what they'll be able to do with this defense. You know what I mean? Because I was even told before he got paid, I was told Xavier Howard was not going to get paid. They had no intention of paying Xavier Howard. And then they saw what their other options were in camp, and it changed the narrative instantly, and they sat down at the table. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm shocked. I'm surprised he wouldn't have been a final cut. That's another thing too. I'm shocked that McKinney was not a final cut. Like, they got rid of his ass right away and said, "See ya. There's the door." People are asking if I'd trade for Jalen Smith. I like Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith only had one down year this past year. It was one down year he's had, and then everyone bailed on him. And he had a down year in coverage, and everyone kind of bailed on him and blah, 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 blah. But Jalen Smith before that was a stud. Well, the one thing, Paul Stanley or whatever, McKinney too has been showing off his instincts. I mean, go look at that Bears game. He was good in that Bears game. He's got instincts in the run game that aren't teachable. That's why I'm shocked that they moved on from him. I mean, hey, another vet player bites the dust. I'm absolutely shocked, but it is what it is. They obviously saw enough from McGuavin, and they obviously saw enough from the rest of the linebacking core, including Landon Roberts when he came back. So, hey, you know what? I already said this. I'll say it again. We saw how ineffective when we were running the 3-4, how ineffective when Landon Roberts and Jerome Baker were inside, when they were interior guys and we were against RPO. They were getting diced. Their reading recognition skills are not very good. So, I mean, Jerome, if you're listening, Mr. Baker, it's time you earn your money. We all thought it was going to be Byron Jones that was going to have to earn his money this year because we didn't think they were going to work it out with Xavier Howard based on what I was being told. Now, X is back, and it's on you, sir, to earn every penny you have. Jerome Baker, the pressure has somehow shifted towards you. Yeah, Lewis Corn, when you do 3-4, usually your will is on the interior, right? So, like, for example, that's why you saw last time I did Sam, Mike, Will, Jack, right? Jack is like your Leo, your rush end, et cetera, whatever you want to call them. It has different names for that position. So Jack, Leo, rush end. Those are some of the names you've heard for that position. This time when I did my roster prediction, I went by the 3-3-5 depth chart, though I still think it's a fluid hybrid defense where you're going to get all your different packages, all your different exotic looks, and your exotic front. So I do think in a game like the Patriots, you're going to go heavy up front. So you're going to go 3-4. And so basically how that works is, you got your Sam, your strong side. You got your Mike, you got your Will, which is lined up in the interior but towards the weak side. And then you got your Jack, which is basically your edge rusher from there, who can also drop back in coverage if you need them, but usually they're edge players. So I would have the interior guys would be either Guavin or Roberts at that Mike position, which makes me shudder, and then Jerome Baker at will. Damien, let the week 1 choke slams begin. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I remember that video. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. EM showed up. He's not feeling it. It's going to be interesting to see how the run defense holds up because this run defense with the depth they've added with Butler and Jenkins if need be, plus mainly the key piece being Benardrick McKinney, we all had high hopes for this run defense improving. So, I mean, Jerome Baker, it's time you earn your money. We're going to find out real quick if I was right or if I was wrong. So, yeah. And hey, with Sam McGuavin and Landon Roberts, remember the emergence of AVG made them kick Van Noy to the curb. Maybe they're seeing the emergence in Robertson, Iguavine on a cheaper front, and that's what's kicking Bernardo to the curb. But they already shook him down for money, so I don't understand this. You know what I mean? It'll be interesting to see. Like, I'm just putting it out there because that's my job. They've cleared up about 3 points. If they start shaving cap, if we start seeing like Jakeem gets traded, Fledulum gets moved, and like serious cap starts moving over here, because that would add like another like 5-6 million. Then Tua stands, I would start worrying. Tua supporters, I would start worrying. But I don't think that's the game plan right now. I think they're heading into today sitting at 80 roster positions. They were like 26 million projected over or something like that. Like, they got to cut a bunch of these guys. So, and they're going to have to move some cap at some space too. So, but, yeah, let's, I guess that's a segue. That's a good segue. Let's talk about Deshaun Watson for a sec. All right, because I got like 500 of you right here. Go ahead, smash that like button. Basically, what I've been told with the Deshaun Watson stuff is, okay, so this morning, and this is already all on the Patreon, but it's going to be more in depth on the Patreon. This morning, if you've been following me on the Patreon, you know that I had posted what I was hearing about the Deshaun Watson stuff, and one of the things I said was my ex source could not get confirmation or denial in regards to the negotiations for Deshaun Watson. Well, today I got a text 100% confirmed, and I was like, okay, what does that mean? So I ended up talking to the said person, and 100% confirmation that talks did happen. Basically, I guess what the belief is, and this is just what I've talked to a few people today, and this is what I pieced together. The belief is the Eagles backed out, the Texans circled back around to the Dolphins. They asked them if they would still be interested in Deshaun Watson. From what I'm told this morning, this is what I was told, that the Dolphins had the highest offer on the table, but from what I understand, it came nowhere close to what they were asking for in terms of the 3 firsts and the 2 seconds. It was nowhere there. And I was told that the Dolphins were fine with getting Watson at their price, or if the Texans don't come down, moving forward with Tua. I was also told that this was going to have to happen this week. Fast forward like 3-4 hours later, I talked to the same person again, just because he had told me earlier that he was going to check in with some people. So I was like, oh, whatever. We were talking about I forget something. Oh, we were talking about just some stuff on Twitter or whatever. And so we ended up talking again. I called him and talked to him again. And basically what I was told was he had then talked to he has multiple people in the organization that he's connected to, and he talked to someone else again of equal input. So someone on the same level as who we had talked to earlier in the morning, and basically told, don't worry, it's not happening. And what's crazy is when he was told, don't worry, it's not happening, it lines up with the time frame of when all the reports were coming out that the Houston Texans announced today they're willing to move forward with Deshaun Watson on their 53-man roster. So I don't know whether this is a deal of, hey, that's what we offered. We got Tua. We're not desperate. Take it or leave it. They know they're the only pony show, the only pony in show right now. So they're basically turning around and saying, well, you know what? We don't want that, and we're going to hold on to him. And now they're either A, holding on to him legitimately heading into the season, or B, another hardball tactic. So because throughout this process, I've been told that a lot of the stuff that's been hitting the media, and like this is even back, weeks and weeks ago, I was told this. A lot of the stuff hitting media is agent and Houston Texans driven. So, I mean, if I start piecing this all together, it seems like they came back around. We said, this is what our offer is. It's nowhere near what they want or think they can acquire for him, because if he gets cleared and he can play and he balls out, it's going to look bad on them. And they kind of scoffed at it. Dolphins are dug in, saying we're only interested at this price. It's nowhere near enough because they have Tua and they have a certain level of comfortability with moving forward with Tua. And they're just not going to budge. And it seems like, because it goes back to what I said months and months ago when this all broke, Nick Castro will always get remembered for this trade. So Nick Castro is going to have to make the most of this situation. And it just seems like he's not budging. The Dolphins are like, whatever, we're fine either way. Like, there's interest. Like, if people have been following me around and following this story this whole time on Phinside the NFL, you can pinpoint who out of the big three between Flores, Greer, and Ross wants Deshaun Watson the most, okay? If you've been following me long enough, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And yeah, I don't think it's happening. I was told, in the morning, I was told it has to happen this week. And which makes sense, right? Man, I was even told that some of the thought process was, if Tua, because Tua's not part of the package. From everything I've been told, Tua is not part of the package whatsoever during the discussions. And it just seems like the reason why a couple of outlets lately over the past couple of days have been reporting that Tua is not part of the package again and the Dolphins might keep him is because they realize if they were to trade for Deshaun Watson, he would not be ready for week 1 in New England. Therefore, Tua would still have a chance to stave Deshaun Watson off because he would get the first start no matter what, right? But we all know they would yank him anyways. So, I mean, this is why I haven't been like overly blasting on social media about it, because I've been getting such conflicting, first I talked to someone who doesn't cover the Dolphins, but he's really locked in, one of the most locked in people on social media. Talked to him privately. I'm told that the Dolphins are trying to make a trade the day this all broke. Then I was told by someone else I can't get confirmation or denial. Then I was told by someone else it's all agent Houston driven. So I was like, wow, I'm getting pulled in so many different directions. Then today, from that X source who was spot on, who was the original person saying I can't get confirmation or denial, he says I got 100% confirmation. And then even that went up and down today with, it didn't look good in the morning. But what I think has happened is the Dolphins have dug in and it's not going down because they're not willing to offer to the moon and back. So, yeah, because I don't think they're willing to offer to the moon and back, it's not going down. That, if you want my honest opinion, I don't think this is happening. I think it's way too. If this does not happen by 4 p.m. tomorrow, my source told me, okay, it has to happen this week. I even pressed him. I said, does it have to happen tomorrow by the 53 cut down? Was given no answer. No, it has to be. I think if it doesn't happen by tomorrow at 4 p.m., this ain't happening. And I honestly don't think it's happening. I think the Texans are going to dig in because there's no pick protection available to any team, not just the Dolphins. This is why the Eagles backed off. The Eagles backed off because there's no pick protection, and no team that's interested in Deshaun Watson is getting a straight answer from Roger Goodell on this is going to happen. Like, for example, and people say, well, what if he's just everything gets cleared? Well, because it's such a distraction. Remember, Zeke got cleared. Those domestic charges got dropped against Zeke, and he still had to spend a couple games worth of a suspension to start off the season. Like, basically, the belief is Watson's going to get something like 2 to 4 games minimum. So it's a matter of when that's going to take effect. So I don't think they're going to trade Deshaun Watson. I think they're hoping all the legal ramifications, everything will clear up by next offseason. They will then know, okay, if the Eagles are offering us these many first round picks this year, or the Panthers are offering me, I know where everyone's pick stands. Like, I know if your pick, the first round pick you're offering me is in the 20s or it's in the top 10 or it's hovering around 15. They can gauge value better. I don't think they're trading him. I do not think they are trading him. Like, that's where I'm at with this thing. And I mean, it is what it is right now. I think they've met their ceiling on their price. It's nowhere near the asking price, and it's because they have Tua. If they're not in debt, like, EM jokes with me all the time. It's not like they have Rosen right now, right? It's not like they're in such desperation mode where they're like, we've got a guy we can't win with. They know they can win with Tua. They're not going to get gouged. They're not going to give up 5 first round. Listen, we all know how Greer already operates when it comes to trades. Greer always wants to win the trade. If he can get him for 2 protected first round picks and 1 second round pick, that would probably be considered a win to them, okay? And all the picks are protected and conditional. I mean, and he's not going to get that. That just is not going to happen. And Tua is part of the solution. Part of the problem as to why they're not acquiring for Houston, but a solution for us. He's good enough. He is good enough. Tua can win. Tua can get us to the playoffs. If the offensive line does their job, Tua Tagovailoa will lead us to the playoffs. If I know that, they know that. I'm sorry. And that's why they're not going to let themselves get gouged in a trade for Deshaun Watson. So, I mean, yes, the conversations happened, but no trade was ever imminent. Ever imminent this second time around. Now, I've been on record, and I'll say it again. If the allegations never hit, Deshaun Watson would be a Miami Dolphin. Contrary to what people want to think, it would have already happened. It would have happened when the league year opened up. And it is what it is. It's the allegations have hit, and Tua has shown enough. We got 612 people in the room. Smash that like button. Subscribe. We're about 27 away from 5,000. But that's where we're at right now. People can take with it what they want. I mean, this is what I've been told today. And that was the person that was spot on with Xavier Howard through and through down to the ankle injury. So, they're in on talks. And then literally this afternoon at about 5:00, I get a call. It ain't happening. He's told, quote unquote, don't worry, it ain't happening. So, I guess they're pondering because Castro has his tie to Flores and his tie to Chris Greer. They're pondering, but he wasn't ready to go. He wasn't, because he'll always be remembered for this trade. So he's got to get the most out of it. So, I don't think it's happening. Now, at the same token, yeah, I'm not even gonna go off with a but. I don't think it's happening. But they've tried. Let's put it that way. So everyone that wants to, I get everyone loves Tua. Dude, no one loves Tua more than anyone. I started the Tua train with EM in this YouTube community, okay? So, it was already on Twitter, but it brought it over to YouTube. Listen, the fact of the matter is, if these allegations never hit, take this from a guy who had Tua as his number one quarterback in that draft class, even after the injury, because I know what this guy can become. Deshaun Watson would be the starting quarterback of this team if not for the allegations. And Barry Jackson told all of you exactly what I've been telling you the whole time. I've told you all about who the person is that's not sold on Tua. I've told you where the disconnect comes from. And that's why when Barry Jackson says someone extremely, extremely high in the organization, you already know what it is. So hopefully Tua can put everything to rest this year and just gain that cachet, kid. Just gain that cachet. Don't worry about the defense. Do your job. Go ball out. Have the MVP caliber season we all know you can have. And the rest will take care of itself. Because someone asked me this today. Do you think we can win a Super Bowl with Deshaun Watson? I said no. He said, do you think we can? So you think we can win a championship with Tua Tagovailoa? I said no. And they looked at me and they didn't look at me, but I could tell how they're looking on the other end of the phone. And they said, so you don't think we can win a championship with either one? I said, I think we can win a championship with either one. I don't think they're the deciding factor right now on whether we win the championship or not. That's my whole position. It doesn't come down. There are other variables at play here as opposed to the quarterback position, right? The tackle positions, the running back room. Can our offense get it going? Is the duo coordinator situation going to work out? Like it's not all on the quarterbacks here. Deshaun Watson does not magically fix this offensive line. I hate to be the one to tell everyone this. Deshaun Watson does not automatically make our running back room better than what he had the last time he went to the playoffs. Deshaun Watson does not fix the carousel at offensive coordinator and the carousel at offensive line coach with no continuity. One player does not change all of those things by any stretch of the imagination. Now, can one have a ripple effect and help everything, i.e. getting the ball out quicker so you're not holding on to it and you can lessen the pressure numbers for the offensive lineman in front of you? Sure. But I think Tua right now, you can win with Tua. If you get top 15 line, if you put together a top 15 offensive line in the NFL, we could go to the AFC Championship with Tua. Like this year. If that offensive line is top 15 in the NFL, we could literally go to the AFC Championship. A divisional appearance would not shock me in the slightest because all that is winning one round. Because let me ask you this. The last time Deshaun Watson went to the playoffs, he had the number 4th ranked defense. He had DeAndre Hopkins, who's better than DVP. He had Will Fuller. He had a better running game. Last I checked, we don't have a Laramie Tunsil. Someone might want to let me know if we have a Laramie Tunsil on our offensive line. Because it's more than the quarterback. There's other variables at play here. That's my issue here. This is what people are not realizing here. Like, this is not a perfect situation for him. I've already said the perfect situation for him, if you want me to be 110% keep it a buck with all of y'all, is the Washington football team. That's the perfect situation for Deshaun Watson. That's where, if I was his people, that's where I'd be pointing. I'm not even being biased here. I'm saying we could go win the NFC East for 10 years. We could beat Dak. We got McLaren F1. We got Antonio Gibson. We can do all this. It's not Miami. The offensive line is not good enough. Like do people? Okay, here's my thing. Do people not realize the amount of pressure that he brings upon himself? And you're going to be, well, what do you mean by that? Well, by stepping up and out of the pocket, by moving around. Do you realize how much pressure he himself, Deshaun Watson, has brought on? Like, he's not a guy who slides up, resets his feet, and makes a throw. So, yeah. I mean, this is a guy who he's been sacked, right? Like, he's been sacked a lot of times. In the NFL already. So I mean, I just don't. I don't know, man. I'm not. I don't think he fixes everything. I just don't buy it. I'm not sipping the Kool-Aid. I think there's other issues at hand here. Like, think of this. You use those 2 or 3 first round picks you got to use on Deshaun Watson. You can't package those together to go get an offensive lineman. Go get your offensive lineman. Go shore up the offensive line. Like that's like the quarterback is not in a desperate need situation where we need to spend. If you were to trade 2 or 3 first round picks, if you include Tua, that's either 3 or 4 first round picks in 2 years in the position. You better hit. But we're not so desperate at that position where we need to spend all of these resources. Go get an offensive lineman. Go get an alpha running back. You use those 3 first round picks, you could go get okay, so they want 3 firsts and 2 seconds. You give me one of those seconds and 2 of those firsts, you could go get a tackle and you could go get a alpha running back for this room. So I don't like Backbone's basically nailed it. Like, I want to show what Backbone said. There's no QB in the NFL that brings the Fins to the Super Bowl on its own line. Sorry, that's exactly where I'm at, bro. That is it. This offensive line is not championship caliber. I'm sorry. Not there. I'm sorry, it's not. With what you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna give up the sack at the worst moment to Watson or sack at the worst moment to Tua. That's what's gonna happen. And you know what? To make throws out of the pocket and to actually maneuver into the pocket, Tua's elite at that already. The guy was number 2 in evading pressure percentage last year. Only Josh Allen was better. Give me a break. I've said this offensive line is, I see it in the, at best 22, at worst, well, you can put that together yourself. Like, I think they're maybe the high 20s at best. At best. So, because they're going to make the world, they're going to make the jobs harder for our running back room and our quarterback. It is what it is. But Watson ain't going to fix that. So, quick recap. Basically, I was told this morning, confirmed 100% that the Miami Dolphins and Houston Texans did talk. Eagles backed out. Texans came back around to the Dolphins. As of this morning, the Dolphins had the highest offer on the table, but it was nowhere near the asking price of what the Texans are looking for. Then this afternoon, the same source hit me up, told me he talked to someone of the same importance in the Dolphins organization that said, don't worry, it's not happening. And this was around the same time where the news was coming out that the Houston Texans were ready to go with Watson on the 53-man this year and pay the 10.9 whatever million that he's owed and just have it against their cap. So it's either the Dolphins aren't budging, which I've been told they're fine with Tua, or they're fine with the Houston Texans being okay with their offer as low as it is, I guess, or the Houston Texans are playing a hard ball and they're trying to either drive up the value or get another team interested right now, but by saying they'll roll with them on the 53-man. But I personally don't think if it doesn't happen tomorrow, I would be shocked if it happens. So there you go. The Deshaun Watson saga, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Either, Miami, shit or get off the pot. All right. Like, you've had multiple chances to down these rumors. Flores looked irritated yesterday. He was answering questions again today. Just move on. Like, make the trade or move on. Shit or get off the pot. That's it. That's all I ask. Why are we still talking about Deshaun Watson? Seems like it's every 3 or 4 weeks. It's annoying. Like, I cringed having to put it into the thumbnail info today. Anyways, yeah. Hey, we'll see how it goes. All right, the season's only a couple weeks away. And another thing I was also told was Will Fuller was told by Deshaun Watson before free agency that he's going to be a Miami Dolphin. That's why Will Fuller, one of the main selling points for Will Fuller signing with the Miami Dolphins. All right. Now that we've been through the cuts and Watson, let's get into some grades from the Bengals and the Dolphins game on Saturday. And then after that, we will go ahead and we'll get into my final roster prediction based on the cuts that have happened today. I had to update my thing. So I don't think anyone had McKinney not making this team. And if you did, you are a absolute genius. All right. So send it to win it. Put together the comeback in Cincinnati. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. Here are your grades in terms of offensively. Khalil McLean, who got cut today, was your top graded offensive player by PFF with a 91.7. Reed Sinnett to win it, 87.9, your second highest graded. Chris Myrick with that big catch at the end was an 80.2. Malcolm Perry shows up at a 75.8. Derval Queiroz Neto, who had 48 snaps at left guard, he came in with a 75.2. Robert Jones, who I actually had a dilemma of should I put him on the team? And I didn't. So, but Robert, you'll see why. But Robert Jones he was 72.5. Jordan Scarlett, who got cut today, was 7. And then the worst graded was Hunter Long. Remember Hunter had that drop. Carl Tucker, Adam Pankey, Preston Williams. Preston only had 14 total reps. So, and then Larnell Coleman, who we all saw looked really, really bad. I mean, he was getting beat. He couldn't wash his men out, couldn't arc him out wide enough. He was getting beat quick. He really slow into his kick slide. That's what it looked like from the broadcast view. So again, where's the all 22 at Game Pass? All right, your defensive grades. Josh Harvey Clemens came in at a 91 on 23. Sam McGuiveen had a 83.2. Nick Needham 82.9. Another good showing by Nick Needham. He's had arguably the strongest camp of anyone on either side of the ball. Nick Needham's been fantastic. Benito Jones came in at 4, tied with Brendan Scarlett for an 80.8. And then Tino Ellis was cut today. Jamal Perry, somehow with his Cyberman tackling skills, came in as 6th highest. What was his tackling? Oh, they gave him an 83.8 tackling grade. Wow. Low expectations, and over there on PFF, that's brutal. Duke Riley, Nate Hawley, and Kevon LeBlanc. Nate Hawley now cut. They filled out the bottom half. For Noah Igbenogany watchers, he finished 9th with a 61.2. Got roasted twice over, and then had that pass breakup at the end of the game. So one good play, and then he was celebrating like he just won the championship. All right, and then what we did last week, I want to do it kind of again. Receiving versus coverage. So, coverage versus receiving. Sorry. So, Noah Benogany, he was targeted 7 times, allowed 4 receptions for 29 yards, and 3 first down, and he had his pass breakup, obviously. And you see he was targeted against Michael Thomas, Trenton Irwin, Trayvon Williams, Jacques Patrick, Scotty Washington, and Auden Tate. Nate Hawley was targeted total of 5 times, allowed 5 receptions for 51 yards and a touchdown. Not good at all. He allowed 10.2 yards per reception. Noah allowed 7.3. Tyshawn Render dropped back in the coverage. He was targeted 4 times, 4 receptions for 27 yards. Duke, because remember they've been playing him at linebacker, oddly enough, right? Duke Riley, he struggled in coverage, but that's been his MO all camp. Targeted 3 times for 3 receptions, 54 yards, 2 first downs, and a touchdown. Josh Harvey Clemens was targeted 3 times, allowed 1 reception for 4 yards. Kevon LeBlanc was targeted 3 times, allowed 2 receptions for 2 first downs and 29 yards. Trill Williams, he was targeted twice, allowed 1 reception, a long one for 32 yards, and obviously a first down with that. Munson was targeted twice in coverage. He allowed 1 reception for 18 yards and a first. Needham was targeted twice, allowed 1 reception for 45 yards and a first down. Jamar Chase had a 29.7 offensive grade that game. That's terrible. And they did charge him with the drop. Shaquem Griffin, he didn't allow a reception against Thaddeus Moss when he was targeted. Tino Ellis, who's cut, he allowed 1 reception on 1 target. Chris Evans against Jalen Phillips, no receptions on 1 target. So he held up pretty well. Obviously, your highest graded coverage player was Josh Harvey Clemens against, it was him and Nick Needham for the most part, to be honest with you. So good work by the secondary and the linebacking unit, because, I mean, can't wait to see what the run defense grades are come out after week 1. That's going to be a very interesting grade to look out for, because, I mean, man, if y'all aren't worried about our run defense, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. All right. Let's before I open it up to you guys, let's go ahead and we will get into the final roster prediction for me. Starting off with offense. Quarterback obviously Tua, Jacoby Brissett. I was only carrying 3 running backs: Myles Gaskin, Malcolm Brown, Salvin Ahmed. Dokes goes to the practice squad. At X, Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, Mac Hollins. At Y, Jalen Waddle, Albert Wilson. At Z, Will Fuller, Kirk Merritt, and Jakeem Grant. So I have us carrying 8. At 8 wide receivers. At tight end, I have Mike Gesicki and Adam Shaheen. And this isn't done in like 12-man personnel, right? Well, with two different tight ends, so people could see who the starting tight ends would be when we go 12-man. Hunter Long and Ethan Carter. I actually have Durham Smythe getting cut. At left tackle, I got Austin Jackson, Greg Little. At left guard, I got Solomon McKinley and Greg Manx. Because he can play guard or center. People think he's just a center, but he can play guard too. He's played left guard. At center, I got Dieter and Cameron Tom. At right guard, Robert Hunt. At right tackle, Jesse Davis and Liam Eichenberg. So, that shows you your tight end options if you go 12-man personnel. But if you go 11-man personnel, obviously, Gesicki, and then the X, Y, and Z out there, right? So, it's gonna be interesting to see how this offense shapes up. I can't believe Jakeem Grant made it here. Here it is. Like this offensive line, though. I mean, you look at it; it is underwhelming on paper. Oh boy, hoping other than Robert Hunt and from what I've seen from Dieter and Kinley, other than our interior, I'm very, very worried about. I think Jesse Davis is a ticking time bomb. He seems injured, battling through something. I don't know. Liam Eichenberg gets nicked up pretty easily, and obviously they're still hesitant about from what they've seen on him, and they've seen more than any of us on him. And then Greg Little and Austin Jackson. Oh boy. So the two guys that look like they're gonna have problems reaching their ceilings if they don't get their acts together. Hopefully, this is the year they do, though. All right, and then for the defense, so I went with their 3-3-5. I switched up last time. I had a 3-4. Now I still think you will see 3-4. You're gonna see a hybrid. It's just gonna be matchup based depending on who you play. Like me and EM had this conversation earlier today. So at left end, Wilkins and Butler. At tackle, nose tackle, defensive tackle, Raekwon, John Jenkins. At right end, Ogba Seiler. Sam, Jalen, and Andrew Van Ginkel. Landon Robertson, Sam McGoveen as your Mike. And then Jerome as your Will, with Shaq and Brendan Scarlett. Now, if you're going to go 3-4, you can literally your Mike and your Will become your interior guys. And then you're either going to have, you're going to have Jalen Phillips on one side and Andrew Van Ginkel or Brennan Scarlett or even Sam McGoveen on the other side, right? Slot, Justin Coleman, Nick Needham. The two cornerback positions, Byron and Trill, and Xavier Howard and Noah Igbinoghene. At strong safety, Eric Rowe, Brandon Jones, Clayton Fledgelum. At free safety, Javon Holland and Jason McCourty. And then your kicker, Jason Sanders, Michael Pilardi is your punter, kick return, and punt return. I got you King Grant, Jalen Waddle, Noah Igbinoghene. Your long snapper still Blake Ferguson. And then for your gunners, I got Mac and Kirk Merritt. So in my world, Kirk Merritt makes his team. Yeah, that O-line is the depth is scary, but what's crazy is it's a bunch of your guys like Robert Jones and stuff will all make the practice squad. Like I think they'll get cut, and I think they'll make it through waivers and they'll go. No, I don't. That's not necessarily in starting order. That's just positions. Like Needham's probably going to start over Justin Coleman. I just didn't change it over. I had them both in the slot, and I didn't even touch it. But Yeah, that's how I see this offense and defense and special teams working out. Like Fledgling ended up making it for me. Obviously Brendan Scarlett. I have Duke Riley not making the team. So we'll see. It's all going to be about that offensive line and how they hold together. And the final cuts are tomorrow at 4 p.m. So we're coming down to the wire. Guys, if you'd like to donate to the channel, paypal.me/Phinside. Become a Phinside, the NFL Patreon, patreon.com/Phinside, the NFL. Shout out to all of my Patreons. I appreciate all of you. Same thing to all my members. If you see everyone in the chat with their emoji and with the badge next to the name, that's because they remember the channel. Members get those custom emojis and all of that good stuff. And then mods, mod gaining mod access comes through being a Patreon. You also get inside information on the Patreon, information I feed right back to you. And then on top of that, you guys get early access to my film studies. Daddy Dean, do we have an extra week to carry one more wide receiver due to one Will Fuller suspension? No, Will Fuller still counts against your 53. Patchvibes.com, use code Phinside to save 20% off of your order. Backroomcollection.net, use code Reason to save 10% off your order. And ThriveFantasy.com, use code Phinside at ThriveFantasy.com, and they will match your deposit of up to $100. They will match it 100%. So some good prop betting. Go check out ThriveFantasy.com. All right, I got people starting to come backstage. I'll drop the link one more time. Guys, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to. There's 572 of you right now. Florida born, what's up, buddy?
What's up, brother?
How you feeling, dude?
Man, you had me sweating bullets on that the Patreon, the first one. I've been sweating this all day, man.
Looked like it was gonna get real for a second there, bro.
Oh man.
I don't know, man. It's not going away, man. It until they dead it, and they had the chance to dead it this morning. It's not going away right now. Cash, what's going on, dude?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
How you feeling, man?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. How are you feeling, man? That's the question.
I'm alive. Another day.
There you go, right? It didn't kill you, right?
Exactly.
Boom.
Dylan, what's up, dude?
Hey, man. Hey. Yeah. I agree. It's not going away. The cloud, the stupid cloud, the Watson cloud. But I just, you know how I feel about it. I don't want it, so hopefully it eventually goes away. And yeah, the offensive line, blah blah blah. That McKinney, man. Before I get,
That's
like I'm gonna let you get the other people up here because I'm finna go off on the McKinney thing. I just like I go ahead.
I think there's something in the works, man. That it don't make no sense. They got to have something in the works
If
for
there's
a
something
linebacker.
if there's something in the works, you're not gonna like it. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
Logan 15, what's good, buddy?
Fuck me.
You're muted, bro.
You're muted, bro. It's one of
that
those
was him that
days.
dropped the
Awkward
F-bomb.
silence.
I thought that was him that dropped the F-bomb.
No, I didn't.
Oh, Logan.
No, I was saying I was surprised about the Benarjic McKinney thing. That was the most surprising. Yeah. Am I surprised about this Watson thing? Not really, because it can never go away. It's like herpes, man. It's just the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh wow.
You know.
Oh.
So
Larry, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on? Just came on to discuss McKinney. I'm trying to figure out, guys. Do you remember when he was originally injured? Wasn't he projected not to even come back until September?
What, McKinney this year?
No, not
from his
when
last
Elijah
year.
Roberts was hurt. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
They remember they're talking about it being potentially career threatening.
Right. So maybe the only sense I can make out of it, I think they were surprised at how fast Elijah Roberts came back,
Yeah.
And that made him expendable. That's the only reason. I just don't see. He didn't exactly play poorly, and he played like we expected. Do great against the run, not so hot in the pass.
That's
Maybe
the
just
thing,
salary
though.
cap savings.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I mean, first of all, we need some quality depth too. So there is that part of the conversation. But like Reason said, I mean, our run defense is going to be almost the same as last year, and it's like that wasn't very good. And they need to be a lot better, and that's literally the reason why the dude was brought in, right? So like we get rid of Shaq Lawson, now he's gone, so we don't have him. Now McKinney's gone, we don't have one of the pieces that we got back in that trade. So all we have left from that trade, and maybe they've even traded it away at this point, but we just got a late round pick from that trade now. So it's like, what are we doing? What do we do? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just
I'm blown away by that too.
And
And we even restructured his contract, and we still let him go.
Yeah.
Shit, we're nasty, bro.
we were giving him shit for, or I was one, I know Reasons mentioned too that he thought it was a little silly that they chopped off two, but for that exact reason, right? Because we figure if he lives up to the run stuffing potential and improves our run defense like we had hoped, then our defense really could be like elite, right? Like top of the shit. And so it's just like, it throws me through a fucking loop. Like, I'm sorry with the F-bombs, but like, good Lord, man.
I agree.
It pisses me off that, again, we have our two major issues that have been here year after year after year.
There you
The
go.
offensive line and the fucking run game. And then we sit here and we finally go, oh, we may have fixed it.
We
may
might
have
have
fixed it.
something.
Oh, nope. And the fucked up part is, again, situationally as well, like Reason was saying, and I was saying on Larry's earlier, is, we sit here and we talk about it. Situationally, last year we got screwed in short yardage. We knew they were going to run, so we put in a heavy package, a 3-4, to go stop it. But we didn't have the size, and we didn't have people who could shed blocks and get in the holes and make tackles. And yet here we are in the same fucking position all over again.
The issue. That's the issue. Look at the guys in the interior. Like, Roberts is your biggest, and he's like 240.
Yeah.
But in fairness, guys,
he can lay it though.
I look at the trends last year as the season went on. Our run defense got a lot better. But I'm with you. There's nothing wrong. Hey, Greer Flores. There's nothing wrong with being an elite run defending team. I still don't get it. Even like somebody mentioned, it's also a depth pool too.
Oh, goddamn it.
770.
Because as soon as Roberts gets hurt, then what?
Yeah,
We're back to having no freaking thumpers. And we have no thumpers.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's a possibility now, like hopefully not, but there's a possibility that now we will not be good at run defense or run offense.
No, I don't think so.
I hope
damn
I think we're gonna be solid. No, the trend
hope
last year was we were by the end of the year we were doing. Guys, remember when Raekwon Davis started balling? That's when our run defense started being acceptable. Let's put
Right
it
after
that way.
Christian Wilkins came back from his injury.
And that's true. That also, right. Reason's right also. So I don't think we're going to be terrible in the run game, but what's wrong with keeping McKinney and being elite? I don't get it.
But that's the thing. That's the thing.
Dude, I thought he was gonna. I thought this guy was gonna be a captain, and even if you keep him from run to known rundowns, like
Exactly. And the fact that he said it was $2 or $3 million. Dude, why get rid of him when all he cost us was $2 or $3 million? That's just a stupid move.
And actually, it was $2 million. A little like $2 million, $3 million because
him and Skura together saved about $4.7 million.
It's a progress preventer. That's what it is, right? Like it's a progress preventer. So we're not able. So okay, fine. I give it to you, right? We did improve as the season went on, and maybe we can get that level of play out of these guys, but who's to say that they're going to take a step back?
You know what my problem is here,
McKinney
Larry?
was one of the primary reasons we thought that was going to take a step forward.
This is the issue, Larry. This is the issue. This is the big issue. You go back to the Bills game, especially when they had Landon Roberts and Baker in the interior. Their read and recognition is god awful, and Josh Allen was dicing us in the RPO game because those two nincompoops were on the interior, bro. And
So
and now were rolling up that same hill towards Buffalo. Because remember, Van Noy was on the outside of that, right?
Right.
So he was on. They were playing him off the edge. Like
I don't
that's the
even
one
want to
play.
think
Remember
about
where
that.
they ran an RPO. They ran an RPO, but instead of throwing it, Josh Allen tucked it. And
I swear to God.
what he did was you saw Jerome Baker. He pointed. You see it's in my film study. He points out the communication to Van Noy to take the running back. Like you can see them, the body language and pointing. Van Noy literally looks at him. You can see him on the L22 go nod, right? So the running back comes out of the backfield.
So
Van
he knows.
Noy mirrors and angles with him. And what does Jerome Baker do? He vacates the middle of the field and picks up the running back as well. And then bam, Josh Allen up the middle for 17 yards.
Yeah, bro. And look, it makes it even more because look, we got a team week 1 who's gonna run the ball, bro. Like the Patriots are gonna run the ball down our throats. They're gonna try to at least, and there is a chance that I don't know, man.
Devil's advocate.
They better be signing them back for like veterans minimum.
They gotta do something.
Yeah, but if you were him, you just took a pay cut. Are you going to come back after you took a pay cut?
No. Maybe they were doing that because he's not fully back from the injury.
Hold on.
Maybe.
Hold on. Who up here is a Patreon?
I am.
Have you noticed what I've said about Brian Flores and veteran players?
Yes.
Yeah.
Man.
We talked about that. It's true. Yeah, I mean,
but he is ruthless.
Yeah.
This is ruthlessness, man.
I think Griffin.
You better be bringing in somebody.
They wanted to keep him on the roster.
I get that. Bro. But you're giving Shaquem Griffin over Benardrick McKinney?
No, yeah, and I love Griffin. Come on.
Are we starting to borderline on arrogance here that you guys think anything can work?
At this rate, hold on. At this rate, Panky's gonna be on the damn roster. Like what the hell, bro?
That's what I said in the chat earlier. You're telling me Panky's ass is still on this roster. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah,
dude, I'm praying that there's a trade coming out for a middle linebacker, bro, because this makes no sense.
Panky is still on the roster and McKinney isn't.
Well, we got till tomorrow, right?
I know, but I'm just saying, as of right now,
dude, I really think it is. I think it's. They looked at Landon Roberts. They said piss poor in coverage, but he's good he's a good hitter. He's a good sure tackler. He's good in run defense. Now he doesn't have the instincts that McKinney does. That's the difference between him and McKinney.
Well, it's
and they're like, and he's a cheaper version, and he knows the defense. Boom, boom. The same type of player, and then Sam Eguavoen, like his little rise to
his little 4-sack game.
You know what I mean? Like his little rise over the preseason has made them look at McKinney as expendable, the same way that APG eventually displaced KVN.
Landon Roberts was great on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, but first, second down, he disappeared.
Oh, I agree.
And Sam Eguavoen or whatever, he, I mean, it's not like he hasn't had good preseasons before. Like he's flashed. I mean, maybe he's taken.
That's all he's done to me is flash.
Yeah, maybe he's taken a step forward this year, and you hope so. But to this point, he's shown some impressive things in like preseason and stuff over the past few years. But then he hasn't shown up really in live game action. So
he's another guy from the CFL though. That look, Cameron Wake, Mark Dixon, they took their time developing. Maybe he's the same type of player.
It's been 4 years now. I think we're going into year 4.
Cam Wake didn't take too long to develop.
Yeah, and this is at least year 3 or 4 for.
I mean, when he came over from the CFL, like
he's been here for a while.
Yeah, he's not in the CFL anymore.
How long
he's been
was
here for a few years. What?
How long was Wake in the CFL for before he came to
2 seasons?
2 years.
2 seasons. He won Defensive Player of the Year both years.
Todd, what are your thoughts? Todd, what are your thoughts? You've been sitting there in the background. What are your thoughts on
Todd,
McKinney?
Grace us with your knowledge.
I think it's ruthless what we did, cutting his contract and then getting rid of him too. So I mean,
these motherfuckers are outrageous, bro. I'm just saying.
But
I think that's something about McKinney. To be honest with you, that's just me.
I think that
I was very sold on us being a good run-stopping team on first down. I mean, this defense is built to, really put pressure on the quarterback. If we can get the down and distance in our favor, get them behind the chains. And I don't know. I just don't, unless it's Sam. I mean, I don't.
Unless they're going to run a lot more 4-3 than we think.
Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't have got rid of McKinney. I don't think he was prohibitive money-wise. I don't think that we're so deep in the roster that, we needed that spot. But ultimately, they must have a plan. Like I said, I'm more worried about their decisions offensively than defensively. Defensively, I trust their vision. Offensively, it seems like they're throwing darts up against the wall.
By the way, Todd, I agree. In my show, it's one of the areas I highlighted that if the Dolphins are going to go out there and sign people from other rosters that are cut, they'll more likely be running back or linebacker. I'm not as high in the backup linebackers a lot of people are at. And now they cut McKinney?
Yeah.
I don't get it because you're right, though. They don't have the depth like that. And at least in my book, maybe they see it differently,
Especially with Beagle out, too. Especially with Beagle out.
and
Beagle was one of my backups.
And the fact that they did it early, leads me to believe they have no interest in bringing them back. They're giving them time to land somewhere else.
He's gonna be the Patriot by the morning, by the crack of dawn.
The only way that this is a chess move is if there's somebody they're trying to shake off somebody else's roster.
Yeah. That's what I'm praying for.
That's it. That's the only reason that it would make big time sense to me. Otherwise, like I said, I just don't. I don't think he was.
We're assuming that McKinney was doing good. Remember,
he was.
Dude, did you see the Chicago game? He was a beast in that Bears game.
He was crushing it.
Right.
And then he's been killing it at practice. He's been one of our better defenders.
So maybe so other than us,
but he's been getting lit up in coverage. He got lit up in coverage.
Thank you.
That was always
right. And I think
but we already knew that. We knew that when you got him.
You already have a Landon Roberts. I think you're spot on. Why am I going to pay that much for a carbon copy of the guy that I got coming
minus
back?
the instinct.
Yeah, that's the only
minus the instinct.
Yeah, or came back earlier than they anticipated.
That's my thought. Because I promise you.
Guys, I'm going to back out. Let somebody else come in. I want to thank you for letting me come on board to get out of my system about this McKinney thing. I'm going to a whole show on that tomorrow, and I don't want to do that.
All right,
okay,
buddy.
guys, peace out.
All right, pal. The only thing I will say about it is I still don't think that we're a deep enough team. I mean, McKinney is clearly an NFL roster player. I just can't believe that
maybe they're keeping
it was necessary. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
oh my God,
I'm on board with that. I'm on board with as we've talked about recent.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I'm not down with keeping 10 receivers.
Well,
we're
being facetious with 10. But my point is,
you sound a little more serious.
I will absolutely I will overload the roster with wide receiver based on the injury history of the guys we have and the fact that this team is incredibly different when you change the receiving corps.
I agree with that.
So to me, I don't want to be at week 4, and be signing Isaiah Ford off the street.
Well,
to come in and fill in.
Be prepared for that.
Yeah. What does your gut say? Does Kirk Merritt make this team?
Yes. Yes, he should.
I do not think he makes the team.
Bro, they cut Kirk Merritt.
I will ban you right now, Cash.
I do.
I think he's going right back to the practice squad.
He ain't gonna make the practice squad though.
Yeah, no.
Somebody's gonna get him.
Yes,
That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. I want him. I like him. He flashes, but we have too many receivers.
Make the practice squad though. Somebody's gonna claim him off waivers.
Yeah.
I don't think he's making a 53.
The way the Dolphins are doing their cuts currently, I think there's.
I mean, bro.
Yeah, who fucking knows, right?
Oh my God, dude! If they
might cut DVP next.
Maybe they think his line is so deep.
I mean, I think this is his last year here.
I think they're gonna cut Durham Smythe.
I think they might trade
Makes
DVT.
sense.
Yo,
Oh,
bro,
no.
I tell
He
you
could
what,
definitely
though.
be traded.
I
think
tell you
Patrick
what.
Williams
That is brutal. They make a guy rework his contract and then just cut him.
Yo,
Man.
but see that
Did
just
he
goes,
wanna go?
it goes back to
You
the
think?
argument of how cutthroat they are and how they're quick to screw players over. But as soon
Lowe's
as,
a McAsshole.
as soon as Xavier wanted his money, everybody was, a lot of people were shitting on him. Nah, man, I don't know. Tomorrow needs to come now because I want to see what they do with the rest of these cuts, bro.
Would you take Merrick over Preston Williams? I would.
No.
That
Not if he's healthy.
Yeah, that's the caveat. That's the caveat.
I think Preston may not make it. He's eligible for the practice squad, right? He's only been in the league for 2 years.
He'll get snatched.
Preston's
Though.
making it.
He'll be gone.
Yeah, but I think that we're in that same situation we talked about before, though. So if we,
I'm telling you,
get
it's
rid of
Jakeem Grant.
Preston,
Move
It better
Jakeem
be Grant. Yes,
Cut him.
because he's
I don't think
obsolete,
Grant's
bro.
going
I don't know, man.
Oh no,
Look,
I had him making my team. I just had him making my team.
I don't think
No,
he's
I-
going anywhere.
I don't think he's getting
good
cut.
chemistry with Tua. He worked.
I
with
think
Tua
he's more
all
likely.
Yeah,
to
they
get cut.
they already tried to trade him and they got nothing.
Yeah, I think
Grant's
I
gonna
think-
make this 53.
I think he's
he is
more
good.
likely to get cut than traded, personally.
I don't
Nope.
think he's going.
He's not getting cut.
He's making the team. He
Yeah, I
he
agree.
flips the field.
He's
I mean,
not getting
for what it's worth, every
He might
time.
have been used as a number 2 or number 1 receiver last year. That's not him.
Yeah, but that's
So
got to
what
be
is
you with the rest of the wide receiver core and how fragile they are, dude. You're basically see. I hate that excuse that people are saying. Oh well, he's a number 5. He's a number 6. Can't let him. What the fuck are you supposed to do when other guys go down? That's when you step up and it's your
Yes.
opportunity to either shine, either shit on the pot or get off it. And that's I hate that excuse that
Amen.
he was out of position. He's a 5 or 6. Well, dude, like if everyone goes down in front of you and I can't depend on you to shoulder that weight
Step
for
up.
10, 12 games, then how the fuck can I ever really depend on you?
And that's
Amen.
why
And
that's
Kirk
where-
Merritt
Kirk
Merritt would
over
definitely be
Williams.
Yes.
better.
Y'all know
Definitely
they
be
got
the
Only
the
better.
why-
insanity.
Merritt over Williams.
Well, no,
And that's
you're
where
gonna
I was saying
you're
Yeah,
you
gonna
but
want
here's the
Preston
thing. But
Williams,
here's the
too.
thing. When Preston Williams is on the field,
He's a
Jakeem
baller.
Grant's not even in his same stratosphere. You know?
I'm not-
yeah, and that's why we can't.
But here's the thing: when Jakeem Grant's on the field, he has the hands of someone with broken fingers that might as well be on the IR.
Right?
Yeah,
Because
and the thing is if you get rid of Preston, what other big body receiver? If Devontae and Preston are down, now you're at Matt Collins or Gesicki.
Kirk
Merritt. Trying to supplement big receivers. That's your only other option.
No,
How
but
close Kirk Merritt?
yeah, but where our whole thing is
No,
like
we're talking about big body receivers.
we have a lot of them.
They're gonna keep Preston Williams, but look, I've been a Grant fan, as people know, but I mean, they should absolutely keep Kirk over him. And as much as I don't want
Over
Waddle
Grant?
returning, yes, over Grant.
Yes.
But
Yes.
and as much
I keep over
let me
Grant.
finish.
I
this.
know
And as much
Grant's
as-
ceiling. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
and it's-
We don't know Kirk Merritt's ceiling.
and
We
as
know
much as-
Grant's.
As much as I don't want Waddle returning, kicks and stuff or punts,
He's going
like,
to.
they're going to use him, right? And probably Noah as well. So
Yeah.
And if Perry
you
makes
don't
Perry was
need him
returning in
for the
preseason
returning
too.
job. You keep Kirk Merritt over Grant.
What about Malcolm
Absolutely.
Perry?
Malcolm
That's what I
Perry
was saying.
practiced
Perry
squad.
returned a few in preseason.
They can list him as running back. He's listed as running back, wide receiver.
Well,
Well, the running backs go keep.
Maybe
if you want to, but I think I'd put him on the practice squad because of his size.
Me too.
Yeah, same.
Like
So
the
that only
thing, the
running
difference
back,
between him and
running
Kirk
backs.
Merritt is Kirk Merritt's like a ridiculous athlete, like
How
like elite.
I was late coming in. So what? You had 3 running backs and 3 tight ends. Reason?
I had 4 tight ends,
4 tight ends.
but technically the 4th tight end was a fullback,
Special team.
Ethan Carter.
Right.
Yeah. So
How tall is Kirk Merritt?
6'1".
Okay.
But the man can jump over the
He's
moon.
like 215. He runs like a 4th. He ran at Arkansas State. He ran a 4.33.
And
No,
got
he's
like
not huge.
46-inch vertical. I mean, the guy's just
Yeah, I've seen a 49-inch vert jump by him.
Yeah.
That's amazing,
So
bro.
he couldn't take the place of Parker and Preston if they go down.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, yes. That's DVP's replacement.
Why don't you keep him over Williams then, who's so injury prone?
No, you don't keep Grant. Why are
The
y'all so
better
hard about
move.
keeping
The
Grant?
better move is to
He's
keep
not
him
good.
over Grant. The better move is to keep him over Grant.
See, Grant, as valuable as Grant is in the return game, again, he has proven to be not only just an unreliable receiver, a liability at wide receiver. He's an absolute, he has killed drives, momentum.
That's what kills me is the drive kill. That Vegas game, how many first down drops did that guy have?
Absolutely.
How many punts did he muff too?
And the Cincinnati Tua. I mean, seriously, the national narrative on Tua changes dramatically if Grant catches that long ball. Because if you look at the numbers, if you look at Tua's numbers and what it would do to QBR, long touchdown yards, all of that. If he makes that catch, it's completely different.
I'm not arguing that. Kansas City game too. I mean, he caused Tua's first interception.
Yeah, the first interception was all on him.
I don't want Waddle returning kicks. He does flip the field. He's dynamic.
Yeah, but Waddle can do that.
I don't want Waddle doing that
because
but
it's not what we want. It's what the team's gonna do.
Well, same thing goes for Grant. Same thing goes for Grant. It's not what you want. It's what the team
wants. Dude, why do you? Hold on. Why do you think? Let me ask you this. Why do you think in the Bears game, Waddle has one return, 21 yards. They take him off. And then Grant, who you already know is the second team All-Pro, gets the next 4 or 5 returns.
Showcasing him. They want to trade him.
Because they're trying to trade his ass because he ain't part of it. Because Waddle, because they saw what they saw Waddle 21 yards and said, okay, we've seen enough. Yep, the guy.
Yeah, and that's another point again with Grant though, is again he's inconsistent even on returns because there are times he'll muff punts or make bad decisions.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's a do or die with Grant. Either he's gonna give you a great return or you're gonna have crap like last year.
Yeah, but that's all he's going to give you.
That's why.
That's what I'm saying. That's
it's not even every. Yeah, but $4.5 million for a guy that doesn't even do that consistently.
Dude, they're gonna look. That's why other teams aren't willing to trade for him, and that's why I'm saying I think other teams are betting that.
No, they're willing to trade for him, just not that high of a pick.
No,
and the Dolphins is like, nope, I'll just keep him.
Look, I don't have any insider information, but my guess is that they realize the situation here in Miami, and they're willing to take the bet that they're either just going to keep him, and then if they keep him, then oh well, who cares, or they're just going to cut him because they're not going to get rid of Parker, Fuller, Waddle, Preston Williams, Kirk Merritt at this point, because Matt Collins. So there's like all these guys ahead of him, and they're also obviously going to use Waddle and probably Noah at least in the return game. So he has almost, as much as I hate to say it because I am a fan of his, he has like no value here anymore. And so teams are realizing, look, there's a high probability that if we want him, we just have to wait until he gets cut. And
that's who they were dangling for when they're looking for a tackle, and they ended up having to trade like a conditional 7th instead for Greg Little.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. Teams are just waiting because they think he's going to get cut, and I do too, actually.
I'm shocked. I
don't know. He had a really good training camp.
I think. Well, he had the last 2 weeks were not that great. He had the drops just come back.
Yeah,
that same argument though is if they wanted somebody and they want to ensure they have to compete with other teams for Grant, giving up a 7th round isn't that big of a deal, but they're not even willing to do that.
Right, and I don't think up until the last minute, a 7th rounder wasn't going to shake him. It has to be.
It has more value than a 7th round pick.
Right.
Yeah, they want to
be
the
last.
They're looking for a 4th or 5th rounder.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're looking for like a 3rd. To be honest,
there's no way in any realm of existence to get a 3rd round.
Field position is a big deal, guys.
But he's not Devin Hester, bro.
Yeah, and dude,
I'm telling you, he is the top returner.
No, dude, listen.
No, he ain't.
No,
he was
not.
He was second team All Pro. He wasn't even first team.
I'm telling you,
that's not true.
He was the runner-up All Pro.
One of.
Dude, teams are willing to wait and risk it, bro. They're not going to give
I
a
agree with
fourth or
that.
fifth round pick, especially not a third round pick. They would much rather wait and see if Miami just cuts him. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
It depends
and
on the
that's
team
what's
where they sit for waivers too. I mean, if
He wouldn't have to go through waivers.
Well, he would have, I mean, the only
if he got
team
cut,
he has any value to is a team who plans on playing late into December and January. I mean, field position only matters to a team that is looking to make a run in the playoffs. I mean, as much as it's not a luxury for a team that picks in the top 15 of the draft to look for a field position out of a return man as a roster spot.
Saints
I
make
could
sense.
see New England getting him.
Jesus Christ.
What, New England getting everyone?
No, but I mean, they run the ball.
Wasn't their guy the first team All-Pro returner?
Really?
Yeah, I think
the
so.
Rams or the Saints grabbing him.
Fuck Jakeem Grant.
I think he's gone. I think he's gone at this point. There's no, because I mean, again, there's all those guys that we could list again and again and again that are ahead of him
And they're
that
cheap.
deserve that. Yeah, and that deserve. Well, Parker and Fuller aren't, but
But
that are
Preston
but they're all ahead of him. And then you have other guys like Malcolm Perry, who you're probably going to cut, but you're going to hope to get him on the practice squad,
I don't
right?
think
So
he
like
makes it to
even
the
practice squad spots aren't open for Grant. So it's like, because I mean,
Why are
he's
we? I don't know why you're infatuated with Grant when the guy's consistently dropped balls. He hasn't even made a 400-yard season. He's has 2 touchdowns in the last couple years.
That's the whole thing about it. I'm not
What's so great
infatuated
about it?
with Grant. No. I'm not infatuated with Grant. I'm not even really a Grant fan. I actually, because I went to my practice and I seen him. I'm like, all right, he's starting to catch the balls or whatever. I'm just realizing the value that they have for him because he's still here. He's still
Yeah,
here.
but that's because
It's
they
like the
couldn't trade
ropes
him.
that just won't go away.
That's why
and
no one
that
else
means
will
that
trade
other
him.
teams don't value him.
That's
Because
the
again, if
problem.
we were dead
That's
set
what
on
I'm
getting
saying.
rid of him, if we were dead set on getting rid of him, nobody's offered us a 7th rounder to get rid of him. No, that's where other teams don't have issues either.
Take a
And then that's why we're just gonna I think stuck with him. He brings enough value to flip the field position.
No, because they're gonna use other people. They're gonna use Waddle, which I think is not because they're gonna because that's the thing though is if they cut, and I've said this for a while, if they cut Grant, not only does that mean they're gonna use Waddle, but they're probably gonna use him actually pretty frequently.
That's
So-
the only reason why I wanted to keep Grant. I'm not a Grant fan.
and so that's and I've said that too, but that's the thing is we know they're going to use him, and when you add it all together, all the wide receivers that you'd rather keep on the roster than Grant for the wide receiving room, and the guys that especially Noah, because you haven't really gotten shit else on him
There
so
you go.
far for return. So you're gonna put him back there. We've seen them use him. They're going to use Waddle. They're going to use Noah, and that's going to be the answer in the return game. And Grant is expendable all around.
Pete says, "Yo, what's going on with McKinney cut? Who's to blame? Greer up to his usual ways." Well, technically, Flores. That nothing goes through that defense without going through Flores. Let's be honest with ourselves, right there. So,
yeah.
I mean, they can both have blame. I'm fair to give both of them blame. Greer executed the actual transaction, but yeah, it has to go
It
through
goes back to
Flores.
Reason's comment.
I'll tell you this. We better win because Flo, man, the more and more that I find out about this guy, the less I like him, man. The whole Tua thing, the whole veteran players.
What do you mean by that?
Unfortunately, that's the thing that I think is
Been
with
telling
McKinney. He was a veteran player, and that's Flo.
Not coming out and dead in this Watson shit.
I love how he wants high character players, but then he wants.
Yeah,
Right.
by the way, that statement.
Okay, hold on a sec. I want to go back to Grant for a sec because this is what's at the root cause of keeping a guy like Merritt over Grant. Grant, DVP, Albert Wilson, and Will Fuller may well not even be in the plans next year at wide receiver.
Great
Malcolm
point.
Perry, Lynn Bowden, Kirk Merritt, Jalen Waddle are guys that most definitely will be, or some of them can be.
Up and comers.
You don't want to give up and risk some of those guys going through the waiver wire, getting snatched before you can put them on the practice squad, or even getting signed from your practice squad with a bunch of guys that are A, glass cannons, and B, might not even be in the long-term solution here. Where a guy like Kirk Merritt, you do not know what his ceiling is. His athleticism is off the charts for a man his size.
And he's balled out all preseason.
And he's earned it. The guy legitimately worked his way up from the mud, from the threes, on the practice squad to the threes to the twos, and then getting reps with the ones. And he's shown to be our most reliable guy, one of our most reliable receivers with every. See, here's the thing.
Every quarterback, yeah.
All these players got hurt, but every time Kirk Merritt came on the field, even when Reed Sinnett had that bad throw in the first game deep towards him and made him like go up for a contested catch, Reed Sinnett's created separation, and he's given his quarterbacks a chance to make a play to him. Jakeem Grant was getting coached up on the sidelines by Tua Tagovailoa because he wasn't doing his job properly out there.
And he's such a small target. He's such a small target. Look, Jakeem Grant, if you're going to use him on offense, the only way or reason you do it is in certain gadget plays. Yes, he's a very, very specific player.
But we have Waddle for gadget plays.
That's what I'm saying. He's 100% expendable. There is no reason why Grant should or needs to be on this team. And I like the guy. Right, like
if I could shake him down for $1 million to be our
I like him because he's
there. You go.
That's why. By the way.
All right. So why do you think we're waiting so long to cut him then? Why are we waiting
because
until the last day?
They can't trade him.
Trade him.
I already said they auditioned him in the Bears game when we were looking for a tackle. Why do you think he was returning the ball 4 or 5 times
this
when
ain't the first
the whole
time we
league
tried
knows?
to trade him?
So why don't
look,
they?
I mean,
but what you're not understanding is other teams aren't valuing him that high to give up anything remotely of value to us.
So why don't they just cut him? Why don't they just cut him?
Because
that's what I'm saying.
They're gonna take. They
have
have
it
until
because they still
have
take
until
a
4 p.m. They have until 4 p.m. tomorrow to get down to the 53.
Yeah, they might get a 6th or 7th round pick and get something rather than
that's
nothing.
what they're hoping. That's what they're hoping.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen, and I think they're going to cut him.
I think he makes the team, but
I think he's gonna make it too, bro.
I do too.
I mean, we'll see.
I don't think he should be. I don't
it.
think he should be on the team, but I think
There you
If he
right,
makes
and
it
that's
and Kirk
all that
Merritt
I'm saying.
don't-
I'm not a.
I mean, if they cut somebody like Kirk Merritt over Jakeem Grant, I mean,
I see that happening. I see it happening.
If they do
I
that,
see it happening too. You want me to tell you why?
Hey,
Are
You
sure
guys remember
it's
Isaiah
possible?
Ford?
Are you sure
You
Will
guys
Fuller
remember?
counts against the 50?
Dude, Isaiah Ford runs a 4.67 and is not a very good
And he
athlete,
got on the
though.
field before Merritt did.
look, it's possible
because he wasn't a rookie in the league.
Right.
Yeah,
Merritt
But
was
yeah.
a rookie.
He
Merritt
was.
Merritt was balling out.
Merritt
Was balling out last training camp. He burnt Byron Jones. Then he got hurt. Then he got COVID.
and then now play Ford.
And Isaiah Ford knew how
Isaiah
to
Ford's
play
been
every
in the
position
league.
on the field. Isaiah Ford was valuable to him because he could play any position. He knew the
And knows
playbook.
better
Not
And-
even that. He knew the playbook. That's
knows
Yeah.
the
why
playbook
they were.
better than anybody. Yep.
But we're comparing a veteran to a rookie coming out of Arkansas State who didn't have, and I've talked about an expanded route
How
tree,
long?
and then
how
has
long
an
has
injury
Merritt
and
been
then
around?
COVID.
Merritt hasn't been around at least 2 years.
Merritt was a rookie last year, dude.
second year.
And Merritt,
That's
He's
why
undrafted free
we want
agent.
Merritt to be on this team and take Grant snaps.
And Merritt's
Period.
done it with all 3 quarterbacks too.
Yeah.
He's done it with Sinnett. He's done it with Brissett and Tua.
Yeah,
And
look,
guess what? Last year, if you go back to training camp, when he started balling out and he burnt Byron Jones on a 20-plus yard touchdown, that was from Tua Tagovailoa. He was working with Tua last year during training camp.
Gotcha.
And then
Is it-
they worked together at Perform all offseason.
I was going to say, if
Yeah.
you remember all the workouts off season, he's in all the.
Dude, Kirk been there. I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
look.
that's what I'm saying. This guy's a legitimate part of the potential future here. Like,
He's hungry.
yeah,
that's
is-
why
is
I
it-
can't risk
Yeah, and
having
that's-
that guy going forward. Someone
it-
will grab him. He will not make it through waivers.
You
to
know,
our
I
practice.
agree with that.
Receiver we cut, somebody's going to grab because they know we have NFL caliber receivers, and we have to get
Yeah.
rid of some of them.
Dude, that guy, Malcolm Perry, you can afford. Kirk Merritt, you cannot afford.
Jakeem Grant, you can afford, right? Yeah. Look, I mean, is it possible that they do something as stupid as cut Kirk Merritt for Jakeem Grant?
No.
Sure. No, it's possible. It's definitely possible.
Yeah, I don't
They've
see
done
that.
some.
I just
they've
think
done some-
what
they've
they
done
just did to
some dumb
McKinney.
things. Yeah, they've done some dumb
so
things,
that's why I
and
say
even
that.
very recently.
I'm just being.
So
Good point,
that's
Logan.
true. No, that's
I'm just
absolutely
being,
right.
Anything's
And
possible.
listen,
You're right.
I'm
but I can't see
buttressing.
them doing that.
Well, look.
I just see the Dolphins do something stupid like that.
Yeah,
so.
I'm buttressing that because it's more than
No
possible.
faith
Sure,
anymore.
they absolutely could do that, and there's a decent probability of it. But they would be absolutely out of their mind if they did that move. So we'll see. I mean, 4:00 tomorrow.
I know, right? Yeah.
So we're gonna find out. I mean, tomorrow I'm sure we're gonna have one hell of a conversation. When we find out what the actual 53
Reese,
man.
you heard anything about Javon Holland?
No,
Reese,
just
you
that
heard
he's
anything
hurt.
about Holland?
Just that he's hurt.
Yeah.
Nothing about the injury. Obviously, nothing about.
Dude, they're being. You don't understand. Dude, they're being super secretive about injuries.
They're all day to day.
They're not messing around. A lot of the media is not happy with how that's being handled.
It's the Pentagon over there.
I get it.
Yeah, but then
You noticed how many?
Maybe Bernard got cut because they found out who leaked out the Watson story.
The Watson.
Have you noticed how many
Dum,
Florida
dum,
beat
dum.
writers are gone? Because I don't know if it's got anything to do with Flores, but there's so many. Adam Beasley left. Armando Segura left.
Well, there was a report out that it
Kevin
has
Wolf
something
left.
to do with Flores. I saw something. I don't remember where I saw it, but it was earlier today. I saw something about that. It said that a lot of the beat writers are, left in part because of Flores and his standoffish ways. Was it you?
Yeah.
Maybe I tweeted. Maybe I retweeted your tweet then or something. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a mass exodus out of the writers.
I watched that press conference yesterday. Finally, where he crumbles up the paper and stuff. That was really weird. He glares at him like
Flo's Debo, bro.
I know, right? The fucking
dude. They asked him about it again today. No escaping.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, look, whenever
they
the
should be
national
asking.
media picks up, you know what I mean, fucking rumors, like right? Nothing's even official, right? This is all back channel talks, but it's making national media. I'm pretty sure he's pissed because I know that these guys are trying to run a tight ship, right? They're trying to make sure that the leaks are minimal, if any.
They brought in that chick from New England to handle all that.
To handle all of that kind of stuff, right? And then here he is.
You guys
what I mean? Wiping the sweat, right? You see the wiping the sweat and then scratching his head and shit. Yeah, man.
He was nervous yesterday.
Charles Robinson that he admitted he never talked to the Dolphins, and he
did it by deduction.
Correct. Yep. And
Yeah.
and he said he didn't think that they were talking at this point.
Yeah, but then did you hear what he said today on the Pat McAfee show?
No, I didn't hear that.
He challenged Brian Flores to come out and discredit his report because they've talked to the Texans about Watson during camp.
Listen. I don't blame Greer for talking to them. He's fleeced them how many times now?
No,
If
he
you
right,
get
yeah.
a steal for Watson. You get a
I don't
steal
know.
for Watson. Even if you stash him for a year, let Tua play. If he balls out, you get double what you paid for him next year.
Dude,
Yeah.
I've actually heard that theory today.
I'm not so sure though that we're ready
Just
to say
now.
that he's actually won those.
No,
trades.
I heard that earlier today. Trade him for more assets.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something Greer would do. Once all the legal ramifications are gone, he's going to be worth twice as much.
And you ship him to the NFC.
Right now,
you don't even have to deal with him.
Right now, his value is at its lowest it's going to be.
Yeah, they're not getting what they're asking for. 3 firsts and 2 seconds.
way.
No,
No way.
not happening.
The only way.
No, you know what I also heard?
Clear.
You know what so the smart thing is? Here's the real thing. Protect your picks, right? So make them agree to pick protection based on playing time and then bench them.
Yeah, they already said. They said they weren't going to. They said they.
Yeah,
weren't
they're not going to. They're not going.
So what if you get him for a first and a second, and then put him on the bench?
That's a ridiculous.
Right,
That's
but
a
that's what I'm
steal.
saying. If
Call.
that's all we did for him now.
That's what I heard earlier
That's all they
today. I
can
don't
get for him.
remember
I give
where
him
it
that
was.
and sit him on the bench for a year. If Tua balls, like we all expect him to, Tua balls out, you trade him the end of the year. If Tua unfortunately doesn't, or doesn't reach our expectations for some reason, that's your quarterback.
Buddy, I'm calling Philly and I'm saying those 3 firsts.
There you
You
go.
got this
There you
year.
go.
Let's go.
There you go.
Yeah, I heard earlier, and I don't remember where it was. It was somewhere on YouTube that they said that we offered 1 first rounder and 2 second rounders, and all 3 of those picks were conditional.
I haven't heard anything about specific packages.
I would do that without.
That's what I was wanting to know.
I haven't heard anything about specific. All I've heard is it's not near what they're offering right now.
Okay. It wasn't a stream one. It was
or what they want. What they want.
Houston doesn't really have much leverage, though, do they?
Get what they want right now with the legal cloud hanging over them. I mean, that's just
you got that, and you got the NFL won't tell you what they're going to do, even if he's cleared. You don't know if he's going to miss games
because something's gonna he's gonna get something.
Well, yeah, because if you're in the middle of a playoff race and he's got to sit 4 games, that can kill you.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of the people are talking about Tua not being included in the trade as being insurance. Because I was also told that he might not even be ready for week 1 if they trade for him, and they realize that. So they're willing to keep Tua for week 1.
Reason we got Senate to win it. It's all right.
Yeah.
I was worried because Brissett didn't play yesterday, and I thought that was a telltale sign that he didn't play at all yesterday. That the trade was imminent because they're going to be trading Tua, and Brissett might have to be the starter.
Can I say I did not expect there to be like this much to talk about today. Like I was expecting it all to be for tomorrow, right? Like tomorrow's the actual cut stuff, and then I figured that was going to be the big conversation. And then we have, I mean, obviously we're still talking about the Watson stuff a bit, but that's obviously not going away. But like then the McKinney stuff, and it's like, whoa,
life of a Dolphins fan, life of a Dolphins fan.
I know.
Absolutely. And we're always the team that's connected with these guys. Always.
I thought it was. I mean, it was Ian Rappaport that put it out, but for like a half a second or whatever, for like even a full like 10 seconds, it might have even been longer. I don't know, time slowed down, but like I was shocked, and I'm like, yo, this has to be a joke, right? Like this ain't serious. They didn't just cut Benardrick McKinney, did they? And then lo and behold,
I was shocked too.
I called EM, and EM's like, I know where you're calling, bro.
Low. Yeah.
And he literally had to. We ended our conversation. He's like, "Yeah, I got to go get my head together, bro. I'll talk to you in a bit." I was like,
"Yeah, the Dolphins the Dolphins had them on a roller coaster all off season, man."
Yeah. Only if we would have got all of us. Yeah. Only if we would have got Nick Bolton.
I mean, bro, like shit we've had to. The shit we've had to go through this offseason, I mean, come on. Like it's been outrageous. It's been outrageous.
I haven't even checked him out yet. Florida born, how he's been doing in the offseason.
He looks good.
It's like I said, I don't blame Greer.
Is that Pyro?
Again?
Yeah.
But I don't understand why Flores can't come out and say Tua's our starter. Tua's going to be
because they're still trying to get. They're still thinking about trading.
It's infuriating.
Because that's what
they're playing hardball right now.
That's what's telling me right now that they are still definitely interested in Watson because Flores had the opportunity. Let me finish. Flores had the opportunity yesterday, and all of that talk in front of the national media, he could have just said, "We're not interested in Watson. Tua's our guy," but he chose not to do that.
Today,
I don't say we're not interested in Watson. I don't.
That's what makes me feel like they are definitely still trying to trade for him.
2021.
But in the same sense, guys,
that doesn't really
in
matter.
the same sense, when has Flo ever said anything? Even with the Xavier Howard shit,
he doesn't ever say anything.
Here, we were all over here stressing X.
You know what he said to Xavier Howard? We are trading him, and you can write that down.
Right, he did say
eventually. That was like a couple hours before they signed him.
Yeah, hey, but we got that, bro.
But Flores also said we weren't trading Tunsil either, and that it happened.
Yeah.
So
and I was gonna bring that up too. Sure, so obviously,
just lie to us.
Obviously he doesn't. Look, obviously he doesn't
say trading Tunsil until they got that King's ransom.
Okay, well, here's my thing: you're playing with a double-edged sword because, the issue with Watson and Tua right now is if this ends up not going down, you have to handle with care Tua's confidence that you've built up, spent all off season building up. Now he's got to deal with this outside distraction again. Yeah. It's like this is not what this offense needs right now, considering all the variables the offense already has.
Right. The only thing that I can see the Dolphins, not wanting to dispel the rumors is keeping the Texans asking price as high as it is in case, as I had mentioned to Reason, if we found out, we've heard that the Texans have no interest in Tua, but what if the Texans love Zach Wilson? Or what if the Texans really like Mac Jones? And, and they get desperate and end up trading Watson for a lot less to a team that we really don't want him to go to. So, I mean, there is a little wisdom behind, allowing ourselves to be used and keeping the value where it's, still somewhat substantial. So, somebody else doesn't benefit.
That's a branch, bro. That's a branch.
Yeah, but listen, I don't mind.
That's a very thin branch to go out on.
I don't mind
that's what I'm saying.
letting
It's a
people
super
think
thin
that they're
branch.
still interested, but you still can give a vote of confidence to Tua and say he's our quarterback for this year.
All I gotta say is
he's not playing right away.
Thank God we got a guy like Tua, because I don't think a guy like Burrow or Herbert could handle this kind of mind fuck.
I think it's just going to add to Tua's chip on his shoulder.
I just want to know how Tua's father feels.
Oh God,
man, that's a great point.
You know what? He's got a. Oh my God, he's got a punching bag in his garage with Flores' face on it.
Sure. I'm sure.
A dartboard.
And a dartboard, yeah.
I got a question for y'all. Why did they set out Tua in the last preseason game?
Because they'd already had the dress rehearsal game too.
Yeah, he's the starter.
I know, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying,
Tua.
like every single starter played in the last preseason game. Even Brady played. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah, but not our starters.
Yeah, but not our starters.
Nah, there were other teams that didn't play their starting quarterbacks.
Everybody had a different strategy of what they were doing on the first 3 preseason.
Listen, would you play your starters against the Bengals?
I mean, for maybe like one quarter.
How dirty?
If there were 4 games, they would have played the 3rd game. But because there were only 3 games, usually the 4th game, when there are 4 games, you bench your starters as well.
Yeah.
Well,
because this is for all the bubble guys to try and make the team now.
Yeah, look, different teams did it differently this year too, right? Like some teams, like the Dolphins weren't the only team that had their dress rehearsal in week 2. There were other teams that did that too. But then there were some teams that did it in the 3rd week. It just depends on what
the Falcons did in the 3rd week. Like even Kyle Pitts played. Like they didn't have their dress rehearsal against us. They didn't have their dress rehearsal.
But I just find it weird. I just feel like Tua could have played at least a few drills. I just find it funny. I just find it kind of funny.
Yeah, but they want. Hold on a sec. But the Texans don't want Tua Tagovailoa in the trade package.
I feel like that's why they sat him, because his trade value is the highest it's been right now.
But also,
no, the thought process is they're going to keep Tua.
I mean,
those same people are the ones that if we did play him in this 3rd preseason game and then he got hurt, then you're going to be shitting on the team for playing him. So you can't have it both ways.
But I'm just saying what most people, you guys ain't what he's not taking into account is that we also had joint practices. So Tua also got some experience with the other teams that we had with joint practices.
Tua showed what we needed to see already. He didn't need to play that.
Yeah, but
I think there's
he went out there, he scored 2 touchdowns, and he led them to should have been field goal, but it was missed. I mean,
he averaged almost 100 yards a quarter.
He played against the Bears. Like, didn't he have over 100 yards against the Bears? Or would have if he didn't have that? He would have if he didn't have that pick.
113.
The point is the offense moved up and down the field in both games. So
you could literally tell the tempo went like when Brissett came on.
Yeah, you could
right down to 0.
You could see the huge difference between all the quarterbacks.
Man, and Brissett, oh my God, when he scrambled, boy, he run like an old man. I said, how come they didn't get him?
How come they didn't catch him? Leftwich? Y'all remember that quarterback?
Yes.
He's an offensive coordinator for somebody now, isn't he?
For Tampa.
Tampa, I think.
I thought he was a.
Tua was Just to finalize the preseason, Tua was 7 of 8 on third downs, which is 87.5%. And on his 7 possessions, he led drives at 83, 75, 66, 60, and 52 yards. And then the 60-yard drive was the one with the interception. The other 2 possessions he had the entire preseason was the 3-and-out with the Shane drop and the 2-minute drill that went 20 plays and went 20 yards in 2 plays with the missed field goal.
Yeah, look, I think that there are pieces of the overall context, and I've talked about them. One in particular is the contentious relationship with Brian Flores, particularly Brian Flores and Tua's family. So I think that there are some reasons why you could say maybe his long-term future might not end up being with the Dolphins. I don't think that's one of them. The did he play in the 3rd preseason game? Also, though, I want to say that if they were to trade for Deshaun Watson, I get that people are saying that the Dolphins might try and keep him and whatever, and I get that for the various reasons presented, but. Well, I mean, I get some of the arguments of, week 1's right there, right? Whatever. So, but the thing is, though, is that if that were to happen, I don't know if Tua would do it, but I think he should request a trade. Because
he would.
He would, bro. Trade him. I don't think they're gonna. If they do trade for Watson.
You think Tua would want to play? That's what I was about to say. Tua would say, "Fuck you."
Watson, I think he's still playing this year.
What I'm saying is,
I don't think Tua's going to say "fuck you." Maybe not this year, but maybe.
I think Tua's more professional.
He'll politely say "fuck you."
It's not. Hold on. I'm going to push back on the professional thing. He is. I'm not saying that, but the reason why I think he should is because that's such a spit in the face.
It is.
It's such a spit in the face kind of thing, and Flores has already shown the propensity to be a kind of a dickhead, if I'm being honest. And if I was not Brian Flores, if I was Tua's father, knowing how Tua's father already dislikes Flores, right? Dislikes Flores. If that were to happen, if that were to go down, and I was Tua's father, I'd be telling him you should request a trade. That's me. You can, people can. I'm sure some people out there probably are hating that I'm saying this, and fine if you hate me for that. That's all good. But that is what I think he should do if they traded for Deshaun Watson. Because it's such a disrespectful thing, in my opinion.
Well, it's really not. Well, I think Tua understands that.
Top 5 quarterback in the league. Okay.
And I think.
I get that.
Hold on. One at a time. Ron, go make your point. Then Soren, go after him.
Yeah. So if they get Watson and Tua still starts this year and balls out, like I said, who's to say they're going to keep Watson if they can get double the value they paid for him? So I wouldn't necessarily think that Tua would request a trade. I think he would look at it as, okay, I got to show what I got. So that
my job to lose.
Be the quarterback next year.
Yeah,
I get that.
And I disagree with the thing about being disrespectful. I think Tua absolutely understands that this league is a business, and it's just a business. It's nothing personal. I think Tua would be able to understand that.
And I don't think I think as much as he could want to request a trade, he doesn't have.
And I don't.
He doesn't have any. He has no leverage in doing that. I mean, especially with the narrative of how people have claimed.
Well, here's the thing, though. He knows he's gonna. If we trade for Watson tomorrow, more than likely he's going to be starting the season because Watson's not going to be caught up with his playbook by that time.
Right, and Watson's going to get a suspension too. So it's like, that's the other reason why it just makes no sense to me. The Dolphins have really taken a step where this year we actually are a legitimate playoff contender with aspirations, and we're willing to throw this season away on a quarterback who isn't ready to start week 1 and will probably miss multiple games at some point during it. But the other thing too is that what annoys me, nobody's talked about it. I think it is just an unbelievable dick move for Deshaun Watson to basically posture for another guy's job for the last 6 months.
Yes.
You know, we talk about teams not being able to tamper, and coaches not discussing jobs that aren't vacant yet, and stuff like that.
Point.
Deshaun Watson has basically tried to strong arm his way into Tua's job.
Yeah, I mean that's right. That's right.
Like,
And look,
you have to
don't
understand.
think,
Sorry, go ahead.
Look, I don't think that I actually agree that I don't think Tua would do that. I'm just saying I personally think he should, and it's because that's the thing, right? And so some of what Todd just said, right? You're gonna go and say that. First of all, you just won't even squash the story and publicly come out and put your confidence in me. We already know that, they've had some contentious things behind the scenes. And then if you say that you're going to go ahead and trust this guy who has these legal, things hovering over him and could possibly have a suspension and all this other stuff when, I've been a model citizen my entire life, right? Like that's what I'm saying, right? That's why it's disrespectful, because you're saying that I would rather trust, and I get that.
Yeah, but
right
that's where it
now
goes back to business. They care about the results.
I know that
he hasn't proven enough yet to take that stance.
I get it.
And the selling point to Ross is if this all clears up, we're going to sell just as many jerseys with Watson as we will with Tua.
Look, I get those points, and I'm not saying those are not valid. I'm just saying, to me, on a personal level, like if I was in that position, I would feel disrespected. That's what I'm saying. I get the business, bro, but like, people do have choices to make, and how they handle.
He's only human.
I agree with Dylan in the fact that you go out and you ask this kid, and he's a kid. I mean, that's the other thing we're not taking into account, because he's had such a young age, and he's been on the stage for such a long time. But this is a 22 or 23-year-old kid, that has dealt with a really tough couple of years, and they turn around and they ask him to be the face of the franchise. He's got foundations set up in Miami, and go and do the right thing and be a pillar in the community and put on the good face. And meanwhile, they have left him dangling in the wind. Not only, and forget about right now, just all off season, the press locally and nationally around Tua was horrible, and they never did anything besides made the obligatory, Tua's our guy, we believe in Tua lukewarm, endorsement. But they ask a lot more of Tua than they give him, as far as being.
I'm not going to say that.
Preach team. You want to preach team, and you want to preach character. And I'll tell you what, the kid has shown a lot more integrity and character than the organization has had behind him.
Yeah, especially when that is one of your big philosophies about core character and stuff. Like, if you do care about that so much, why are you saying that you want to, even entertain?
Because he doesn't. He just wants to win.
I get it.
Who's in the win tunnel?
He's a top 5 quarterback, period.
Y'all need to realize, y'all saying that this is disrespectful, y'all need to realize that if these allegations never happened, he would have been on the team since March.
Absolutely.
There's nothing disrespectful about this, bro. This happens to every player.
I agree with that.
Every player's spot is up for grabs if they underperform.
Never happened before in the NFL.
And I'm not saying Tua underperformed, but I'm just saying Tua is unproven. And it's just a matter of taking a proven commodity.
I understand that. But
it is. I agree with.
Hold on. It's never happened before where a top 5 quarterback in his prime has been made available.
I get it.
That has never happened. That has never happened in the history of this league.
Bro, and I don't discredit any of that. But they've had months now where this story has been out where
that's because something new's always popped up. Something new, more women popped up. Then the Feds things popped up. There's always been stuff that's popped up.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. So this has been ongoing for months now, and they have vehemently refused to do the full buy-in and so on and so forth. Like they've had ample opportunity to not be a dick about it, and they've chosen.
Well, dude, the Arizona Cardinals said that Rosen is our guy before drafting Murray. There's always a PR game being played between teams.
Totally.
That is their job.
But there's a difference. There's a difference in that.
Different. Yeah, because it was an easy out. Because it was a brand new coach coming in who's like, I want my guy, right? Rosen was there before.
Okay, but bottom line is when you're saying that, they're not reassuring him because there's always a PR game being played in terms
I get it.
of these
I just
trade
don't have to
talks.
like it. I don't have to like it.
Look. Watson is the better player. And when this first happened, like the very first time where Dolphins were like, "Hey, let's trade for Watson." Like I even did on my personal Facebook post. I was like, "Yeah, dude, like let's get Watson." The issue is these 24 allegations. So now it comes kind of disrespectful that even though Tua showed you all these things, right, and he showed you how much he's grown, the fact that this guy has these 10 criminal complaints against him. 2 of the women aren't even suing him, right?
Civil cases.
No. He's got 10
criminal
complaints against him. And out of the 10, there's 2 women that aren't even suing him in the civil lawsuit. So you got all these issues going on. The FBI is investigating him. And also the Harris County Human Trafficking is looking into a situation too. And the fact that Flo and Greer still are like, let's look at a trade, that to me is disrespectful considering all the things Tua has done. Now, like you're saying, when it's just Watson and Tua and nothing else, then yes, I agree with your point. But the fact that all these other things are happening, that's like you
kicking it with a
girl. This literally goes back to what I said so many times ago. Okay, you got someone that doesn't want you and wants someone else. What's that checklist going to have to be, and how extensive is going to have to be, and is it even possible to complete in terms of showing them enough where they'll be okay? Flores didn't want him from the rip. Flores is the advocate for Watson, all right? And Tua did literally everything they could have asked for him to do in the offseason, and it still doesn't seem like it was good enough. So it goes back to they literally gave him an uncheckable, impossible checklist.
Yes. And like I said, and Tua, to me, again, I mean, you guys know where I stand without anybody getting into another screaming match about it. I am willing to bet any amount of money. I ran out of people to bet, not money that I'm willing to bet, that Tua will have a more successful career than Deshaun Watson. I think he's a better player. I think he has. I think his upside is greater. I think Deshaun Watson has wonderful personal numbers, but I just don't think I could really make the case that I mean, it's a lot of it's fugazi, and I just think that Tua will have the last laugh in this. I'm
not advocating Deshaun Watson. I'm not a Deshaun Watson fan. I'm just saying I don't think that Tua has the right to feel disrespected yet with 9 games under his belt, number one. Number 2, on the business side of it, like I said, if you could stash him for assets later, that's fine. I like the fact that Tua's on a rookie contract and you can build your team around him on a rookie quarterback contract. That seems to be the way teams have been winning lately because you can spend the money elsewhere on your team instead of 20% of your cap going towards the quarterback, which is why I really don't want Watson on the team because you got to pay him $40 million next year, I believe, is his cap.
Right. Yeah, so, and that's
I'm not advocating for Watson. I'm just saying, listen, I understand why Greer might be still talking to them.
It's that window. It's that window that I keep telling everyone that they have with this secondary and this defense. They have a 2 to 3 window, and Watson just expedites the offensive prospect. But this is what I go back to. The quarterback is not going to solve the offensive line. The quarterback is not going to solve the question marks in the running back room. He's not going to do all that.
We have one of and he's not going to solve our run defense either.
Watson put up all those numbers as one of the worst offensive lines in the league.
Yeah, and we had the best quarterback ever for how many years and never won a Super Bowl. So it's not just the quarterback.
Look, and when it comes to the business side of things and whatever, I'm not disagreeing at all there. And I admit 100% that the disrespect, it's obviously a personal, emotional thing. That's why I said, if it was me, I would. And by the way, nobody gets to tell anybody else when they get to be disrespected. So if he is disrespected by the way that Flores has been going on about things, whether he's played 9 games or 1,000 games, he has the right to feel disrespected. So look, man, if I was in that position, I think there is ample reason to be disrespected. Now, do I think that means that at the end of the day he would request a trade should they trade for Deshaun Watson? No, not necessarily. But if it was me, that's what I would do.
Right, and I agree. I agree with Dylan in that. Listen, it is a business, and if they decide to trade for Deshaun Watson, I'm not going to feel bad for Tua at all. That's not what I mean about disrespectful. But it's like when you see a guy treat his wife like dog shit in front of everybody in the room, that's when you feel bad for her. And it's a business. Like I said, if Deshaun Watson's a better player, then move on, and that's fine. It's treating them like this and letting them dangle in the wind, and while he is your guy and you have expectations for him that you want him to live up to and meet and hold himself to a certain standard, when you guys they disrespected him with Fitzpatrick even a little bit, through the end of it last year. But again, it's a business, it's a win first business. They have other people in the locker room who matter, and they have to do what's best for the entire team. But the thing about it is you continue to not have this kid's back, and there's a way to, continue to do what's in the team's best interest and not treat the face of your franchise like a whore. You know what I mean? Like
Let me ask you a question. A lot of coaches in the past have used the media to motivate players internally. So after last season and all the negativity that Tua has heard made him go out this offseason, bulk up, do what he needed to do, and now he looks good. So maybe they're continuing this for more motivation for Tua.
Nah, Tua would have done that irregardless. That's the whole point.
Well, but there's more of a sense of urgency.
That's a bad method, man. That's because you're
messing with. I'm not saying I'm agreeing with it. I'm saying that could be a reason why.
I don't think this is listen. This goes back to before the allegations hit. Before the allegations even hit, he would have been a Miami Dolphin. This is because they are legitimately interested in Deshaun Watson.
That's right.
That's the bottom line.
That's what makes that not a motivational tactic, right? Is because they actually legitimately were and still are interested in Deshaun Watson. If they weren't really interested in Deshaun Watson and then they put out rumors that they were then maybe you could say that. But since it's true that they are interested in Deshaun Watson and have, been one of the front runners through most of the process, it completely takes away the credibility of it being a tactic to motivate him. And what Chris said, he would have done that regardless. So, that's.
I'll say that if Flo has this impossible checklist for Tua, then they better just make the trade now with Watson instead of just playing this waiting game, and he'll be more expensive next year. So if that really is the case where Flo has this impossible thing and just never like Tua, just get rid of him, man.
I don't understand why people.
Go ahead, Todd.
Tua understands this nature of the business. I mean, this is a kid that took Jalen Hurts' job. Jalen Hurts had to transfer colleges to get back on a football field. Tua watched Saban deal with it with dignity. Tua, as a young kid, treated Jalen Hurts with dignity. Coming in and taking his job, winning a national championship after Jalen Hurts, was the starter. So there is a way to do it without absolutely embarrassing the guy who's losing his job, and
yourself looking like a complete asshole.
Right.
This does suck for Tua, man. To be competing with somebody who's not even on the team, that's dealing with all of this craziness around them. You know what I mean?
And looking at the allegations.
With
all of that. Going, I mean, let's go get the town.
It goes back to literally an impossible mountain to climb. But all right, let's because tomorrow I'll be back for cuts. So let's go through some final thoughts here. Cash, let's start with you.
Yeah, thanks again for having me on the show, man. Love the content again. Keep doing what you're doing. Hope you get better. But yeah, I love what we're doing. I'm confident in Tua. I think that he is the quarterback. Let it be said, if they do end up trading for, Watson overall, so be it. It's not a downgrade, but I do believe in Tua. We have some holes. We still have some holes, so at least for me, the jury's still out on this offensive line. Still a big concern. Overall, though, I'm really feeling good about the team. I've seen us look way worse. So, fins up. Let's go. 2 weeks is too long.
Melvin donated $5. Said if Tua is traded, Flores better not let him have more success. All right. Dylan, your final thoughts.
Thanks for having me. As always, it was a very spirited conversation, and I enjoyed it. So much love and respect to everybody up here on the panel. If you like my hot takes, you can find me at Dolphins with Dylan. I'm going to shamelessly plug myself because I'm terrible at it. So throw that out there. Otherwise, I'm just tomorrow, man. I'm waiting for tomorrow. So that way we know, right? Because that's the next definitive, the roster is always fluid, but definitive answer on what the roster is going to look like heading into week 1, barring something crazy, whatever. So I'm looking forward to that, and then get to the regular season. Fins up.
Todd, your final thoughts.
Reason, as always, thank you to the panel. Thank you. Only the Dolphins can do this, where they, finally get a quarterback that they draft in the top 5, the only rookie QB with a winning record. We're going into final cuts, and the only thing we have left to talk about is the quarterback. Like we just can't seem to get that position. Yeah, just get that position under control and worry about the other parts of our team. But it is what it is, and it'll work itself out. And I believe if we actually allow Tua to get on the field during the regular season, he will quiet all the doubters.
So, Ron Levy, your final thoughts, dude.
Yeah, Richard, thanks for having me. Great show again. And I just don't want – I want to dispel anybody who thinks I want Deshaun Watson to be the start quarterback. I don't. I have a ton of faith in Tua. The only thing I was saying was if you could get him and stash him and double your assets, I don't blame Greer for trying to do that. He's playing chess, but everybody else is playing checkers. So, I have full confidence in Tua. I don't want them to get Deshaun Watson to play for this team. But if they could triple or double their assets, obviously that would be a great move for them. Again, I'm sick and tired of all these rumors too. So I wish they'd go away and get the season started already. Fins up.
Yep.
Logan, your final thoughts.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me up here. Enjoyed talking with the panel. I hate when people say it's a business because there's such thing as bad business, and I think they're heading there. If they can't just kill the rumors or go with the rumors, it's so irritating that we are talking about this again. And like the front office is just frustrating. It's just kind of a little frustrating me. Like I don't know what the 53-man roster is going to look like, but like the Benargic McKinney thing is questionable to me right now. Maybe they have a plan. I don't know, but just a little irritating. But anyways, what is exciting is 2 weeks from now, man, we're gonna have a football game. So
hell yeah,
it's gonna be great. And fins up, guys.
Crypto, your final thoughts, dude.
Not crypto, but anyway, I appreciate it as always. You did good. I love you. I love you. I love you. Great show as always. Best Dolphins YouTuber out there. I'm not even talking Watson. I'm not even bringing up his name. So that's the end of that. My biggest thing is we gotta. I hope to God ball game said it. I hope they have a plan for this run D, because if not, Flo and Greer have to be held accountable, because it looked like you had it fixed and then you just pull it out from under us. That's just really frustrating. It's gonna be a long 2 weeks. Fins up.
Soren, your final thoughts, dude.
Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. I just wanted to say and when I say that, the thing about Tua and Watson is that when sorry, hold on. When people wanting, I want to make it clear that people wanting Watson is no disrespect to Tua. I love Tua personally. I think I love his potential and what he could be. But Deshaun Watson is that player right now. And I like to make this comparison. If the Rams picked up the phone right now and called the Dolphins and said, hey, we can't afford to pay Aaron Donald anymore, Can you take him off our hands
EM
and we'll take
comparison.
Raekwon Davis?
This is
And
EM
that is
comparison.
happening immediately.
That
Like,
is not your comparison. That is EM's comparison.
I know. I'm crediting him, but anyway, that is literally the comparison.
Soaring above the clouds.
And I'm gonna make
Aaron Donald doesn't have 24 sexual assault.
I'm gonna make a bold statement.
That's all.
Deshaun Watson will be on this team by 4:00 tomorrow.
You
Before
Pete? Are
4
you
o'clock.
Pete? You Pete?
No.
Are you Pete?
Bro,
That's
it's
a Pete
possible.
thing to say.
All right, final thoughts. Go. Last but certainly least.
Well, I joined late, but I'm gonna keep it short and simple.
We love you, Pop.
As you guys see, when y'all was talking about Watson, I just checked the fuck out. I'm so tired of talking about Watson. It's so just irritating to talk about this guy.
Massage your butthole.
2 weeks. I'll get back to that, but we talking about this guy for 2 weeks. 2 weeks before the freaking season starts. I'm just tired of it, and I just hope that Jakeem Gray gets cut. Jesus Christ, get him out. Yeah, Panky, get him out. Get him out. Freaking, but we cut McKinney over. Oh man, all right, that's enough of that.
All right. So tomorrow at 4 p.m., all the cuts will happen. We'll have a good gauge of what this team will obviously look like for the 2021-2022 season. I'll be back tomorrow night around 8 o'clock. We'll go over the cuts. We'll talk about it. And until then, stay happy, healthy, safe, and blessed. Fins up all day, every day, baby.